Hey guys, this is your girl Lira, and you're listening to Self-Reflection Podcast. Thank you for joining me on another episode of Self-Reflection Podcast. I pray and I hope that this conversation finds you guys in the best light that you can be in today. And if you're not doing your best, I want to create a moment for self-reflection as well. I want to remind you to prioritize yourself, prioritize your mental health, and also your emotional well-being. I know I come on this platform a lot of times and I always talk about how self-reflection and how important it is and how much self-reflection has helped me with my own mental health. And that's why I want to continue to remind us to, continue to prioritize self-reflection as often as possible and as often as we can. We're going to dive into our podcast episode for today. Today, for our podcast episode, actually, I decided that our last season is going to come to an end, and this podcast episode is going to be the beginning of our new season. That's going to be season 4. So, in season 4, we are going to open up with Ariel, a professional stylist, and I'm going to let her introduce herself, and then I hope we get to know more about you.
Yes.
Hi.
Thank you so much for having me here today, Lira.
Thank you.
Yes.
For our friends and family and people that don't know you yet, can you give us a little background of who you are and a little bit about you?
Absolutely. Well, I'm Ariel Tinsey. I am from Chicago and I'm based in LA, a fashion stylist, celebrity fashion stylist, and creative director. I own Black Salt Creative Agency.
Yeah. From Chicago to LA, that's a big transition.
It is.
Right?
Yeah.
So we're just gonna go back to back when you were in Chicago. As a young girl, when you're in Chicago, did you ever think that you were going to become a stylist and move to LA? Or
Yes, I always knew. I
yeah.
always knew I was going to be a stylist. I always knew I was going to be in LA. As a young girl, I would just sit in my room and get really crafty with my hands. And at that time, I didn't know that I could be in fashion. I didn't know it was a career in fashion, but I really pride myself in being the research queen. And I spent a lot of time researching and just trying to figure out, what is this? Can I turn this into something?
Yeah.
And I was finding myself at 16 years old taking the train downtown to go sit in fashion shows in Millennium Park, in high school. And no one even knew that there were fashion shows going on in the city, but I found that collective that was producing these really high-end fashion shows. And as I evolved within my research and my creativity, I found out that there's a fashion school in LA. And I was like, I want to go to fashion school.
Yeah.
And I asked my mom, and at the time she was like, no, you can't do that. Most parents are like, pick a real career. And I'm like, no, this is a real career. And from there it was history. I proved to my mom that it was something sustainable, and that I could turn it into something. And I had to gain her trust.
Yes.
So I sat in the computer room. That's when the computers were completely separate. And I sat up all night and I created a whole presentation on what is a fashion stylist, how much do they make, what school I would go to, where I would live, who are some popular fashion stylists. And at that time, and still, was Rachel Zoe and June Ambrose. They were the trailblazers in fashion styling. How much I can make. And I woke her up in the middle of the night and I'm like,
look at this.
Look at this. And she's like, okay, well, if you want to do that, you have to pay for yourself to go visit the school. How bad do you really want it? And I was like, okay, challenge accepted.
Yeah.
And I got 3 jobs. I was a telemarketer, and I worked at Filene's Basement, and I also worked at Hollister. And Hollister, it was one day a week, but I kept that job because it was my visualization point. Because if you know, like Hollister, it's all based around California.
Yes.
And that's where I wanted to be. So I would fold the clothes, and there was a screen inside of Hollister, and I would just stare at that screen, fold the clothes, and envision myself in LA. And I used those 3 jobs to make enough money to go visit FITM, the Fashion Institute, and I also was supposed to go visit USC and UCLA also, but I knew what I wanted.
Yeah.
And so to answer your question, yes, like I knew I wanted to be a stylist, and I worked hard to curate the steps to get there.
Yeah, like hearing you talk, it's like did you knew what you were doing somewhat when you were somewhat manifesting this life for you?
I didn't know.
Yeah.
I didn't know. Now that I'm an adult,
Yeah.
and my frontal lobe is developed, I realize like I was manifesting.
Yeah.
And I had no idea I was doing that.
Yeah.
So now when I'm looking for new avenues or what the next step is in my life, I always remember that feeling that I was going after at that time.
Yeah.
And it has to feel like that, or at least similar to that.
Yeah.
So that I know that, okay, that's the right step for me.
That feels authentic to
Yeah.
like your core. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
You know, because sometimes like I think we have used like the word manifestation has been used so much today that people kind of, I think, blur the line between actually doing the work, because you
Yes.
actually had to do the work
Exactly.
to like get to where you are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Faith without work is dead.
Ooh.
Yeah.
When you moved to LA, what was that transition like for you?
Interesting. Yeah. When I first moved to LA, I was excited.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't easy. It definitely wasn't easy. I had my car broken into when I first got there. My car broke down. And in California, you need a car. I had experienced shady roommates. So it was tough,
Yeah.
you know, and not having my core friends. I didn't feel like I had like a foundation. But I still I persevered, and I stayed focused on like why I came. Like I didn't come for that, you know, like it's nice to have it, but I came for a purpose, which was fashion. And it was exciting. I am one that will put myself in position by any means. So again, going back to being the research queen, I knew about every event that was going on in town, and I figured out how to get into those events. I knew who was going to be there. I knew who I needed to talk to, and that's how I established relationship. Before I even graduated FITM, I had already built a Rolodex of relationships, and every job that I had gotten to date is still even from some of those relationships I established 16 years ago. So I remember doing my final project at FITM, and I was pulling clothes. I was 18 years old pulling diamonds off of Rodeo. From my relationships and working with integrity. And so I remember doing my final project, and some of my classmates like, can we come in like intern with you? Like, what do you have going on over there? And I'm like, yeah, come on. And a lot of them, they did help and support me within my styling career, and have also blossomed into amazing stylists themselves. So that was my breaking ground into LA, was knowing who I am and claiming it before I had even established myself.
Yeah.
You know, I was working Mercedes-Benz Fashion Week, and I printed out my business cards that said fashion stylist, not assistant, not intern. I'm a fashion stylist. And that's what I was passing out at Fashion Week.
Oh my God. I have so much to unpack in that space. When it comes down to building relationship, you touch about integrity there. What does it take for someone that is looking to be able to break out whatever industry that they're in, to be able to build that kind of relationship for themselves as well?
When you say what you mean, like keep your word. Like word is bond. And I really pride myself in that. Like if I say I'm going to do something, I'm going to do it. And also for my clients, I try to maintain, a trustworthy relationship. And I'm dealing with very prestigious clients. They need trustworthy people around them. But outside of my clients, just the relationships around me is like also sharing resources with each other is very, very important and very valuable. That's how you make yourself an asset within the industry. And also just like being confident in knowing what's for me is for me. Like I can have the same Rolodex of designers as the next person, but they can't do what I do.
Yes.
They can't do it with the way I do it with my team or style it the way I do. And being confident in that, no one can take away anything from me at all. Also, showing up and being supportive of your relationships as well. When someone's having an event or if they're producing a show or just dropped a new product, showing that support and that love to the people that helped you. I remember when I first started, I was interning for several different stylists, but also I also interned for Lynn Jeter, who is a powerhouse publicist, Motown era. And I also interned for Reggie Rutherford, who worked for the late Reggie Rutherford for E. And both of them would always tell me, like, do it with love. Do it with love. That was the motto.
Yeah.
And I remember specifically with Reggie, he believed in me, and put me in front of the camera or even sometimes like, behind the camera, like he would take me with him to fashion shows. He was, being the videographer for, and he helped me connect a lot of those dots. And he also introduced me to the late Sunshine, who is the first fashion stylist I work with. So both of my mentors had passed away like in the past couple of years. And that was one thing they always taught me was do it with love.
Yeah. And I love that, because I feel like whatever you do, especially when you do it from the heart, it doesn't feel as if it's work. It doesn't feel as if it's like draining or anything like that.
Yeah.
And then when it comes down to like you knowing yourself and you believing in yourself that much, like what does it take for one to be able to know themselves? Because everyone is different, but I also do feel like there's a certain type of like value and core that people carry within themselves.
If it doesn't feel right, don't do it. It doesn't matter the dollar amount or the project or the celebrity. Like if it doesn't feel right, hit the hard no, Like if it's not a hell yes, it's a no.
Yeah.
And I'm at a point now in my career where I'm okay to say no. I'd rather protect my peace. And not only that, but also like sticking up for yourself too, like if you're in a room and someone's crossing a boundary, use your voice. So
I love that.
Yeah.
And okay, we're gonna break away from like you real quick, and we're gonna get into styling. I know you styled several celebrities.
Yeah.
When you were styling celebrities, do you enjoy styling, in studio spaces, or do you prefer like runways, or do you prefer music videos?
I prefer all of it, but because I love creating. I really, really like seeing the finished product and on the big screen or a billboard, and I got a chance to see my project live on, in Times Square on a billboard during a press tour, and just
That's huge.
I'm constantly like surprising myself. But I would say doing custom pieces like for tours or costuming, because I'm not a designer. I'm a fashion stylist. So I'm not behind the machine, but I have so many ideas. And sometimes I can't find what I'm looking for in a showroom or a style house or a store. And so I might like the sleeves or the cut on one jacket and the embellishments on another. And to like merge those ideas together and create my own. I have so much fun in doing that.
Yeah.
So anytime that I'm able to create my own, Those are my favorite projects.
Yeah, and when you're styling people, do you think about like their personality, color, and all of that?
Yeah, absolutely. I pay attention to like their skin tone, color matching, definitely their personality, their body type, what's going to accentuate those curves if it's a lady, or what's going to help them look slimmer. Is it practical? Can they dance in it? Is it sweat proof? Is it gonna, look really sweaty on stage? Is it gonna shred or rip? How many times can they wear it if they're performing in it several nights in a row? There's so many little details, like down to the stitching, like the thread that is going into the fabrics, the buttons, the zippers, everything's so detailed. And I'm very, very, very particular.
I feel like you kind of have to in this space, right?
Yes, you do.
Yeah. When you're styling people, right? And let's say you get into a challenge or you get into a space where you have to pivot. How do you pivot in that space?
Man.
Because I'm sure like stuff comes up all the time.
All the time. All the time. But you got to be fast. You got to be so fast. You got to make quick decisions.
Yeah.
And it always works out. And if it doesn't, it still works out. It always works out. And I mean, I do get a little, there's sometimes, and it's funny, and this is the first time I'm like sharing this, but like there's sometimes where I am in the bathtub working, like, and it's a high intense moment, but like I'm creating that balance for myself. Like that's the only 20 minutes I have, and I'm in there like, all right, like, putting the looks together and coordinating things with my team or answering emails or selecting looks or what have you. But you have to make quick decisions because sometimes a client will reach out in the 9th hour and need something. I've had a client reach out at 9 a.m. and need something by 1. And I come in rolling with 4 or 5 racks. And that goes back to relationships also. Having a really solid team, because I can't do it alone. I definitely can't.
Yeah.
And I've been blessed to have a great team around me. I do a really good job at, vetting great individuals. I can tell when someone really wants it. And they do a good job at helping put out some of those fires too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Having a great team around you when it comes on to mentoring, right? What is one of the lessons that you have learned from mentoring other people?
I can tell when someone, when they really want it, because I remember being that young individual and how I was. And I can also tell when someone's like, still just trying to figure it out. And I give grace, and I'm happy to answer any questions and share resources. If there's an opportunity that comes up and it may not be a fit for me or what have you, I don't mind sharing those resources. That's also how my mentors help me. Is by sharing those resources, like, hey, you should be at this event, or you should be going to this casting, or you should meet this person. And they've put me in rooms, and passing the baton, not being selfish in that. Some people feel like they want to hoard everything. But when it's our time to go, like, what happens?
Yes.
We have to pass that baton and have faith in that. That's what it's all about at the end of the day. So that's what my purpose is to help shine a light on the next season of creative individuals.
Yeah. Talking about being in this space and passing the baton. I know the fashion space is... There's not a lot of color people in it. Oh, I think before, right? So being a woman and a color woman in this space, how have you navigated this to be able to be where you are?
Well, one, I don't feel like that limits me. Honestly, I feel like it's a gift. So, I don't look at it, like as a bad thing or a derogatory thing or something that is shunned upon. Like
Yes.
it's really, it's my superpower, really, to be a Black woman in these spaces and able to navigate all that I do. So I take a lot of pride in that. Now, when it comes to having relationships with certain designers, I do see that there's not a lot of support sometimes from certain designers when I'm doing a request for artists. It may not be on their roster. They prefer, someone from a different shade. And it is what it is. But that also provides me another opportunity to get creative. So I pivot and I find something even better because there's a lot of emerging Black designers that are amazing and they have the same quality, if not better, collections. So I like to support my, community, Black and brown designers, help place them, on red carpets, help place them in editorials as well. I really like to support, the Black and brown community with placing them in the right rooms also.
Yeah.
Because I know how it is to not, be able to be in those rooms. So with my background, I also do fashion PR and I have my creative agency. So I help merge that gap between the designers and placing them in editorial campaigns or in placements with influencers or with talent.
Yeah.
So that helps elevate their brand and in return, bring value and revenue to their collections.
Yeah. Juggling everything that you do and also being a mom, how do you prioritize the time being a mom and also business? Because you have your agency and then you have the fashion design and everything else that you do.
Yeah, I love bringing my kids along for the ride too. Like I was just on the phone with my kids before I came over here and letting them know, what's going on. And, they're very supportive too. I was like, mommy's going to go speak on a podcast. And they're like, oh, can you send it to us so we can watch it?
Aww.
And they're really inspired by it. And they inspire me too. My daughter wants to be a fashion stylist also. And she spends a lot of time creating. She's an outstanding artist. She loves to draw. She spends time making mood boards. And she doesn't let me pick out her clothes anymore. So I let her be creative to her own right. And she really advocates for what she wants to wear. And my son, he's really spunky and he's rebellious. But as far as balance, definitely taking time. I try to, when I pick them up from school, log out of my socials, put my phone away and be really intentional with my time with them when I pick them up from school. And I cook a lot. And I don't know how I do it, but my kids get a warm breakfast every morning. Wow. I don't do cereal.
I love that.
I don't believe in sugary foods that early in the morning.
Yes.
So they get a very warm breakfast in the mornings, full course American breakfast or English breakfast. Yes. And then, making dinner as well every night. And we DoorDash here and there, but most times it's a home cooked meal.
Yeah.
So I think that helps create that balance. We sit down together, we eat together as a family, we pray together, we go to church. And also, meditation as well. I teach my kids how to meditate and how to self-regulate. We have very intentional conversations in our house about our nervous system. We talk about boundaries, very open book, with my kids. And even if I am stressed, if I'm going through something, my kids know. I don't hide that from them. Of course, I talk to them about it in a very age-appropriate way.
Yes.
But I'm not perfect, and I don't want them to feel like they have to be perfect. So I don't mind being very raw and candid with my kids.
Yeah.
So, and it allows them to, ask questions and help them figure out who they are by seeing those raw emotions. So
an open space for them to also be open to be vulnerable
Exactly.
with you instead of
Exactly.
hiding it.
And not even me, but their future relationships.
I love that.
Yeah.
Okay, so for any parent that's listening, I know we'll kind of just segue a little bit. How important is it for parents to be able to be vulnerable enough to share that type of space with their kids? Because I think working in I work in the mental health space, and I see a lot of family dynamic with the children and the parent. And one thing I've seen that hinders a lot of the relationship is that the parents don't let the child be vulnerable and vice versa. The parents are not vulnerable with the child as well.
So for me, when I grew up, my mother allowed me to figure out what religion I wanted to be. And I have several religions in my family, and I was able to explore all of them. I was able to explore my creativity.
Yeah.
And that's how I was able to find myself. Like, I was a young girl putting blue hair in my head and called weird and all these names, but I was confident in who I was, because I'm like, I'm just figuring it out like the rest of us, you know? And so I like to give my children space to find themselves, and just be an open book, and be vulnerable with how they're feeling. If they need to like unpack something that happened at school, I want their home to be their safe space.
Yes.
You know, so that they don't feel like they need to outsource to anyone. But not only that, I want them to find a safe space within themselves, because at the end of the day, that's all you got.
Yeah.
Because I'm not going to be here forever. So my goal is to help them to be self-sufficient, not be dependent on anyone for filling their cup. How do they fill their cup on their own? And how do they make themselves happy? Because someone else can make you smile. They can be a complimentary to that, but no one's going to be in your life forever. So how do you make yourself smile? How do you make yourself happy?
Love it.
So, yeah.
Yeah, I love that. Thank you guys so much for watching Self-Reflection Podcast. I just want to ask you, if you have yet to subscribe to Self-Reflection Podcast, please go ahead and hit the subscription button as we look to continue to grow our community here. And also, for everyone that has subscribed to Self-Reflection Podcast, I want to thank you for being part of this community and for supporting Self-Reflection Podcast as you do. We're going to get back into our conversation. We're going to do a little fun
Okay.
a little fun
Let's do
activity
it.
here. It's gonna be this or that,
Okay.
and you can just give one word, two words, whatever fits you best. Drake or Kendrick?
Kendrick.
Okay, old school. That was real quick. Old school or new school?
New school.
I want to know why.
Because I love evolution.
I love that. Studio session or red carpet moments?
Red carpet.
Yeah, you look really great in your dress
Thank
yesterday.
you.
Trends or timeless?
Timeless.
Ooh. Book or podcast?
Book. No shade.
I'm like, a little tear just dropped down, but it's okay. Books or music?
Oh, I love both. Music.
Yeah. We're going to move into another part of our podcast. When it comes down to your fashion style and the Black culture, how do you merge both together?
One, supporting Black brands, like buying Black creativity. But as far as like my style, my personal style, it's an ode to my roots, which, you know, my grandmother is a classy woman. So I definitely pay homage to her. My great grandmother, classy ladies as well. Very poised.
Yeah.
And so I feel like that's how I merge both together.
Yeah.
And I've refined that and created it, you know, into something as my own. But, you know, I'm here today with like, you know, cargos and, you know, a crop top and some sneakers.
Yeah.
And, you know, I feel like, you know, that's definitely complimentary to the Black community, and it's just effortless without trying hard.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah, I love that. For all the people that you have designed so far, who has been your, I don't want to use the word favorite, but who has been the favorite person
I
you
get
have
this
styled?
question so much, and I like never answer it. I like never answer it because honestly, every client that I've partnered with
Mm,
has been so amazing in their own way.
yeah.
Like they work hard and they're so creative, and it's been such an honor to help tell their stories
Mm,
through my artistry. Sitting down in studio sessions, listening to the music, creating a vision, going through the treatments,
mm-hmm.
and um, really trying to pull what it is out of their mind
Yeah.
and bringing it to the big screen. So I don't know if I could really answer that because
That's
all of
fair.
them, yeah.
And everyone brings a different like
They
vibe,
different
energy.
vibe, different
Yeah.
energy. I think when a client trusts you, then you are much more willing to like expand
Yeah.
and really create something beautiful. And so it's been amazing creating looks for his past 3 tours.
Mm-hmm.
I've also worked with Machine Gun Kelly, and with him it was, he's alternative, and that was really fun. I
Yeah.
really enjoyed that because I love all my playlists. Honestly, it takes you all around the world,
Mm.
and so it was really fun creating looks for his music videos. Which also one of them won a VMA that I had styled, and so like being a part of that, and then reaping the rewards from it
Mm-hmm.
also, it lets you know you're doing the right thing. But to answer your question, like honestly, like they're all so good.
Yeah.
I get excited every time I see the finished product.
When you first meet like a new person that you're about to style,
Mhm.
do you go by the aura or do you go by like, what do you go by?
Before there have been times where I had been booked by the manager or through the label, and then I'm not directly talking to the artist,
Mm-hmm.
and then the shoots would turn out excellent, based on the treatments and the sizing that they gave me and the creative breakdown, but I've now been very intentional in making sure and requesting that I'm speaking directly with the artist.
Yeah.
And building that trust that way. So all of the jobs that I've worked on, I'm one-on-one with the artist, talking with them on the phone. Hey, like, like what's your vision? How do you see this?
Mm.
And because they'll say something and then there'll be that one key word and it's like, okay, I got it.
Yeah.
I know exactly what to do. I know what you need.
Yeah.
Because it's almost like playing telephone. If it's too many people in the middle,
Yes.
then it could mess up the creative vision that artist wants. So it's really important for me to have those one-on-one intentional conversations. And I do go based off of the aura. That's the only way I can be connected with their aura, is to be in their minds and in their spirits, and like, what is it that what is the message that you want to deliver with this look?
Yeah. So we're going to do a quick reflection session here. Who have you become through this work that you do?
I have become and still becoming a very confident, secure, creative, powerhouse woman. That, to say the least. But I've become honestly my wildest dreams. And wow, actually, like in this moment, like feel that, because I have achieved so much, and sometimes I'm getting a little emotional. I've achieved so much, and you move like, and life just moves so fast.
Yeah.
I've been styling for 16 years and I am not even anywhere near done. It's so much more that I'm going to achieve. So that's why I say becoming also. But I've become my children's role model, which is the greatest gift. My kids look up to me and they're like, I want to be like mommy. How many people can say that, So I think that in itself is a blessing.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
That just touched me. How do you stay true to yourself in an industry that profits from extortion?
I take a lot of time to myself. I will log out and quiet my mind. I spend a lot of time in nature. I am a tree hugger. Okay. I love to go running. Running is my therapy. Movement is my therapy.
Yeah.
I will spend time filling my cup. Absolutely. If that means not answering the phone for a couple of days, if that means sitting out in the sun, I will do it. That is my boundary. I really take pride in that.
Yeah.
And I have created over the years a good tool set for myself that works.
Yeah.
And I have amazing people in my corner too that help support that. So yeah, but nature is definitely my best friend and my balance.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
When you feel burned out, what brings you back to life?
Sleep. Sleep. That's
it. What does healing looks like for you right now?
Healing for me is going after everything that I want. I think that sometimes, like with healing, it's like I have to be 100% healed before I make the next step. And I've learned that while you're healing, life still goes on, no matter what. And so it's an integration process. So for me, healing is integrating everything that I've learned and everything that I'm learning and integrating it together and still living life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's sometimes it's like we feel like because we're healing, we want to stay stuck in that same spot.
Yeah.
You know, and like I said, life goes on still.
Yeah.
Even if you get stuck in the corner sometimes. Yeah.
It doesn't mean to not give yourself grace.
Oh, yeah.
Of course, if you're feeling like I need to rest, honor that. But sometimes we can get a little bit too, and maybe I'll speak for myself. I can get a little too generous with giving myself too much grace. But then that can turn into an excuse, procrastination. Oh, I'm not there yet. And sometimes we have to get out of our own way. So it's really important to like, okay, you know what? There's a lesson here and I won't have all the answers today. And the only way that I'm going to find those answers is to keep living life.
Yeah.
More experiences are lessons in life.
Yeah. I love that. Yeah. And as we come close to our podcast episode for today, right, what should our listeners sit with this week from you?
Start. Just start. Just do it. Fail faster. That's what I want them to know, is to fail faster.
Yeah.
It is okay. Fail. Like, do everything. Even if it doesn't make sense. If you have an idea and it doesn't coincide with your current career path, do it. Do it anyway. Yeah. You can be multi-hyphenated. You do not have to stay in a box. So push the button on it. See how it feels. And if it doesn't work out, it's okay.
Yeah.
It's all right. Go to the next one. So fail faster. That's the only way you're going to figure out what's for you.
What's one thing you wish you learned earlier in your career that you know now?
To have my contract signed all the time. It's really important, like when we really talk about the business of it, to handle your business. Don't rush into a project just because it's like, because they're rushing. Don't make them rush you. Still handle your business. Make sure, you're with your invoicing, or, if you don't have an agent or a manager that is doing that for you, make sure you always dot your I's, cross your T's. So that's something that I wish I knew earlier, but I learned it very early on. So I am happy that I learned that early on. So I'm always protecting myself in my business.
What is some words or advice that you have for your children when they watch this? Because I know they're looking forward to this. What advice or encouraging word or anything you want to tell them?
be you, be weird, be weird, be everything that you want to be in this life. Everything. Like your wildest dreams, like you can do it all. You can do everything. You're limitless.
Yeah. What kind of mindset does one needs to have to be able to extend themselves to like the space that you're in and the space that you're still going into?
Not taking things personal.
Oh, yeah.
Don't take it personal. It is business at the end of the day. You can unpack that later, but you have to have a strong mindset. You're dealing with, well, I deal with a lot of personalities in one day, between my team, between designers, PR houses, production, talent, and managing it all.
Yeah.
And you can't make everybody happy. You know, at the end of the day, you just can't, and you will drive yourself crazy trying to make everybody happy. So do not take anything personal.
Thank you so much again for joining us on Self-Reflection Podcast. I really enjoyed this conversation. I think some of the preset questions that I had, we kind of just moved away from it. And I loved the organic conversation, and I got to really learn a lot from you, you know, especially when you talked about your mentors and how much they pour into you and how important that is to have a mentor, because sometimes this life is hard trying to figure out about yourself, right? As we close out, right, what is one lesson you learned from your mentor? I know they said do everything with love, but what is one lesson you learned from them both that you want to pass on to us as well?
I learned that they take time for themselves. They wouldn't get on their computer or answer any calls before 10 a.m. They had rituals that they would do for themselves every day before they started their day. My mentor, Ellen Jeter, she would go for her walks every morning and then come back, you know, have her tea or water, what have you. And she wouldn't answer any calls or anything until she did that. And so in hindsight, I realized that I've actually established that into my life also. And fueling yourself with the proper fuel too. The food that you consume. They have pretty strict regimen diets, and they stay true to that. So and so for myself, you know, I'm vegan. I've been vegan for 6 years now. So I can't show up to set sick or, you know, things like that. So I really try to take care of myself, especially when things are moving at such a fast pace.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you guys so much for joining us on Self-Reflection Podcast. I hope that this conversation was helpful. I hope that you found value in this conversation, and also you found yourself in our conversation as well. Also, I want to remind you, if you have yet to subscribe to Self-Reflection Podcast, please go ahead and hit that subscription button. I'll greatly appreciate it as we look to grow our community here. And again, for all those that have subscribed to Self-Reflection Podcast, thank you guys so much for subscribing. Thank you guys for leaving your comments and also just supporting this journey that we're on. Again, I want to remind you, if you have yet to prioritize your mental health this week, go ahead and create some moment for self-reflection. You know, self-reflection is one of those things that allow me to be able to find myself and also prioritize my mental health. So that's why I continue to encourage everyone to prioritize self-reflection. You know, thank you again so much for joining us. I hope you have a blessed day. Take care of yourself, love yourself, be kind, and be gentle with yourself. Until next time, you're listening to Self-Reflection Podcast, and this is your girl, Lira. Ta-da! Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you. You're amazing.
Thank you.
Like that just rolls off the tongue for you.